Hey guys, welcome to another session of Epic 7. This is my initial thoughts video for Politis, or Politis, however you want to pronounce it. I'm not sure yet. Whatever rolls off my tongue better, I suppose. I'll just say Politis for now. So I had a really busy week, and I wasn't even sure I wanted to stay up. I knew it was kind of like a waifu. The silhouette kind of gave it away, but you know, I wasn't sure. A lot of speculations on if it was like Cezanne holding like a ball doll. Regardless, the speculations came to no avail, as we now see that it's a hero that no one could have guessed. I'm glad in a way. It definitely took me by surprise, and man, holy crap, cow, man. Even though I was so tired, I didn't want to watch the live stream. I am glad I stayed up for it, because that reveal was pretty big. I mean, I would have made no difference, I suppose, that I waited for the YouTube video after the stream and then just watched it the day after. So I stayed up for 2 AM again for this one. No dragon howling. For those on the stream, they may have been disappointed, but no need to howl. I don't think she's like a super hot like waifu, but she's definitely like kind of like a cute and pretty waifu. Looks aside though, I mean, you see her here. Let's talk about her. Oh boy, I mean, by now you guys should have like seen the video and even done your own interpretation. I mean, it's clear to everyone, no one is foolish enough not to know what she can do. She's absolutely too good in the sense that we just had Fairy Tale Tenebria out as a limited hero. In my opinion, she is more overpowered, and that being said, it's just because she can deal with so much of what other heroes rely on to make them successful. We'll talk about it when we talk about the S too, but that's my thoughts on her. Like right away, if they had made Politis here, like I haven't even seen her in the story. Maybe I'm not far enough yet, but I haven't seen her in the story. So if they made her like a limited hero, I would be like, what the heck is this? You know? And it would still make sense. I understand the Fairy Tale Tenebria thing was the art contest, so you know that made sense as a limited as well. But in terms of like if they had released her as a limited hero, like she looks stronger than when Cerise was released as a limited hero. Looks stronger than when Landy was released as a limited hero. And like I said, Fairy Tale Tenebria, they don't hold a candlestick to her. I mean, that's how absolutely bonkers she seems. And I don't even think this is just on paper. I think there's a lot of people who like cleaving are already scratching their heads. It's like, oh man, how am I gonna deal with her? Both in RTA, and she's gonna be in every single arena defense. I think paired up in the proper Guild War defenses, she's also gonna be experimented there. Man, I don't know how long Smilegate is gonna be stretching out this control mage heavy meta, but I would say mainly control, because I mean there's controllers that are not mages, but whew, man, forget. I have no idea what they're doing, man. I'm shaking my head, laughing, excited because she's so good. You guys know me. You guys know my style, man. I don't do this. I don't do the like she's so good. And oh, look. There could be comments and just like, Dragon, there's gonna be this hero that counters her. But she's so good. She's so freaking good. First things first, she's a mage. Fire. The fire elemental, I mean, people would be like, oh yeah, you'll miss ice. Okay, whatever. No, she's going to stop like the majority of the cleave decks right now. Most prominent like cleave heroes are ML5, so it doesn't matter, she won't miss them. If you're gonna start, you know, using like secondary top cleavers, which is like Pavel, Green Vildred, she's fire again, and she deals with it too. But man, I'm getting so ahead of myself because I actually want to. Hold on, I'm gonna do it. I'm actually gonna do it. I'm gonna take off my headphones. I'm going to stand up, do like a stretchy stretch, because like she needs me to change my posture, my position. Guys, how good she is. And also I've been sitting on the chair all day, so I need to stretch. Hold on. But man, holy frick, she's really good, man. All right, anyways, I'm back. I just had to stretch my hips. All right. Mage and Gemini. I asked around because it just didn't occur to me. I'm like, the stats look really familiar. like what mage is it? So one of my guildmates, Vaxis, he's like SBA, which I don't own, so I don't blame myself for that. And Spectenny, I'm like, oh yeah, Spectenny, the 30 effectiveness. Her imprint concentration is effectiveness, 27%, though she's not a limited. And you know, before I get too excited and say that everyone must pull, although I have to say right now, I think she's a must pull. There are potentially limiteds coming and a collab coming in maybe 2 to 3 months, all right, or 1 to 2 months, okay? So with that being said, Smilegate is going to do an excellent job this year, 2021, robbing us of our resources. If you're free to play, I hope you didn't fall for the Celine banners. Don't go for any of the return banners right now, okay? Because the horizon is bumpy, and you really don't know what's coming. All right, based on just the Fairy Tail Tenebria release, even though it's limited, it's pretty game changing. This one is absolutely game changing. I don't know what's coming, and I'm scared. Cerise is apparently supposed to come back, and she's dominating right now. Politis or Politis mixed with Cerise in the Guild War defense team is utter cancer. Man, yeah, I'm talking a lot. We haven't even gotten to a kit yet. But yeah, 27% imprint concentration. I wouldn't go super ham on her. I would say go for 1, and that should be enough. I mean, the 30% effectiveness in the Awakening alone is crazy. If you get lucky, maybe pull 2. I really suggest do not. Be wary of it, okay? As much as say she's a must pull, be wary of your resources. I know I have to really watch it. First things first is the S2. I don't know, okay. S2, this is in the order that the video is presenting it. And this is the big one. This is the kicker, right? So when the enemy is not elite or boss monster, reduces the effect of combat readiness increase granted to the enemy by 50%. All right, so reduces the CR half. You have it, okay, half it. So Oxlots can only do 50% CR boost. Now, look, 50% CR boost is still pretty good, right? That's not going to directly stop, like, you know, a J-Kisei cleave or whatever, but it's still very good. All right, so in terms of like someone using Athletica, so you might have to, like, if you were to put her on Arena, I think you have to maybe pair her with Celine. And like I said, the Cerise on the defense will have like a double effect that, you know, they can't get a CR boost no matter what. But Athletica definitely suffers here. Anything without 100% CR, especially on the first turn, is gonna suffer a lot. So, you know, is this gonna kill Oxlots right away? No, I don't think so, unless you don't have your Oxlots molded and you're contending for that last 10%. But most people have their Oxlots S2 molded anyway. But then this effect does not stack with other passes of the same name. I don't again, I've asked that question before, and other people on YouTube have told me this, and I forgot the reason why they have to make that mention, since you can't use 2 at the same time. I'm not quite sure. But activates Tranquility when an enemy uses a non-attack skill. Tranquility can only be activated once every 2 turns. Also very scary skill. So the combat readiness portion is not the same as the non-attack skill portion. They're completely different. So like she does deal with Oxlots turn cycling. She does deal with Athletica. She deals with RB even, since it's a CR consequence. But then she deals with non-attack skills in the sense of, like, let's say Sinful Angelica. Like, let's say you have an RB on your defense and they want to use a Sinful Angelica. You can't really do that without the risk of you know, getting stripped and she going to a 30% CR boost. So in terms of like a defense scenario, Politis is a very cancerous hero because she has so much kind of like if you do something, I'm gonna do this, and all of them are like really good. So yeah, so if you let's say use a Sinful Angelica, you want to try to kill that RB non-attack skill, And Tranquility on the first turn on a defense team. Attacks all enemies, so it is an attack, it does have to hit. And it decreases the buff duration by 1. So that's all buff duration, alright? So buff durations by 1, so that's a plural. So if they have immunity and they have a barrier, that's reduced to one turn, alright? Or if you have immunity or whatever. And then increase the combat range of the caster by 30%. So she can, more or less, she can actually cut, actually, now that I think about it. So in terms of Oxalots, no, I would take that back then. So Oxalots, if your Oxalots is really fast and your heroes are really fast, you only do a 50% CR boost. If she's quick enough on the CR timeline, that 30% could actually potentially cut the hero that you pushed up with Oxalots. Yeah, so because how Oxalots works, if you have like a really fast hero, let's say like a 250 speed, I don't know, cleaver, and you push with Oxalots, then there's no way she can cut, right? But anyways, that's a bit too much. But it's a very packed S2, very packed S2. And then Starfall, this is the S3. So again, in an AI, it would probably do, it will automatically do the S2 because it is a passive, and then she'll do the S3. So attacks all enemies with alien technology up to 100% chance if you mold it to +4 to decrease the hit chance and then make them unbuffable for 2 turns. So 2 turn hit chance decrease debuff, so blind, I just call it blind debuff, and then enabled and then unbuffable for 2 turns. So again, very nice. And I think if you put Abyssal Crown on her, that would be, you know, 2 times that you may be able to proc an Abyssal Crown on your opponents. So with the S2 combined, of course, because it is an attack. And then Abyssal Crown does not miss, although if they're on immunity, you do have to hit to have the potential of decreasing the buff duration by 1 turn. Alright, so a lot of RNG, but this is what makes the control meta kind of crazy. And like I said, if you have her on Abyssal Crown, you got 2 times the possibility of actually stunning your opponent. So that's, stunning your opponent. So that's actually really good. And then the fact that you have a hit down and unbuffable for 2 turns. So that in itself is already pretty crazy. I can see that she might be one of those pre-bans for cleavers who want to just have all options, because like if you're doing this in RTA, of course, just imagine having, like, you know, you have a Athletica Oxalot, maybe you have a Cerise deck in there, but you have a Cdom. Remember that if she goes through, Cdom doesn't cut as much as she wants, right? So if you crit all 4, let's say with the Cerise, Cdom does not cut 40%, she cuts only 20%. Now, unless your CDOM is really, really fast, you're kind of screwed there. The other thing is, obviously, if you do use a CDOM on her, CDOM generally wants to do her own CR push, which is a non-attack skill. So you proc Politis into the S2, the Tranquility. A lot of stuff. Like, I think she just handles a ton of heroes all by herself. It is pretty scary. I haven't even done a full, like analysis in terms of like which heroes are gonna fall under her spell. Can I use that? It's not a really good pun because, I mean, she is a mage, but like Rowana, for example, if you land the unbuffable, Rowana is also green. If you do land it unbuffable, she can't do the revive on her teammates or herself. She doesn't push as much if you proc the S2, right? So because I think the S2 considers an extra attack because it's a I think it's considered an extra attack. So I think it would proc Rwanda's heal and the CR boost, but also because her just being on the battlefield reduces that by half. So a lot of heroes I think will suffer with her. So definitely I think she's going to be high pre-ban rate for people who want to cleave. And yeah, you guys saw in the video example, the F Cleary, right? The F Cleary, it will cut on F Cleary's own CR boost or the teammate CR boost that she gets for RNG. If she does the S3, Politis gets the turn, unless you S3 into her though, right? If you S3 into her, she procs the S2, but then she will do an S1 to follow up if you get the provoke, that is. And then that's not it. S1. 40% chance, 40% chance to do a stun for 1 turn. S1 stun, looking to be very cancerous. I mean, it works on Robbie, it works on all the heroes that can do a stun on the S1. 40% chance is not even too shabby. Comparing now to Fairy Tale Tenebria, which again is the mage that we just got, is the same in terms of proc rate. 40% for 2 poisons versus 40% for a stun. You take the stun any day, right? Unless they're immune to it. But, you know, for the heroes that are immune to it anyway, the poison wouldn't do much more for you in terms of, like, let's say a Champion Zerato or something. And then the same as Fairy Tale Tenebria as well. S1 is 20 souls, grants an extra turn. I do believe that this could be very, very beneficial for her S2 cycling, although the S3 cycling of course will come in play. This is a 4-turn skill. It has a 1-turn cooldown if you immole it, so it's 4 turns. And this one, because it's once every 2 turns, so ideally the soul burn is probably the setup of something that, you know, you've survived the first round or the first turn of everyone, and you're trying to set up for something else. I definitely think that she's going to be for anti-cleave, so therefore having her on something like Abyssal Crown would probably be the best. Sure, you can go Isle of Violin as well, but I think the Abyssal Crown portion can, like, just really throw off like certain fights. But yeah, it depends. There are you know, people thinking that, you know, build her like tanky high effectiveness, but also with her data mine out, you can consider her as a somewhat of a like pseudo DPS as well. It's technically like an auto DPS, because again the passive in the right fights, in the passive will kick in, and your S3 you'll technically get the turn if you CR boost yourself for 30% anyway. So like you can actually legit, I think, consider her as like a like decent effectiveness but DPS build. So her data mine says that S1 is at a 1-time attack rate, 1 times POW, so just, you know, 1 times. The S2 is a 1 times POW, a 0.9 attack rate, which is still pretty good. That means scale more on the crit damage more so than the attack. All right, crit damage more so than attack. If you're going for the build, and then S3 for the DPS build, I mean, S3 is Starfall. It is 1 times attack rate and 1.1 times POW. So you really want to, you know, accentuate the POW portion, which just means damage from anything. It could be like HP scaling or whatever, but you want to like really push that crit damage over the attack. So I think that could definitely work. Definitely something that you can, you know, depending on your style, definitely something you can consider. The only thing I don't know about this banner would be the artifact. All right. The one time where I'm just like, okay, you know, I want an artifact, not the hero. The game always knows my desire, so it always gives me the opposite. I know I'm gonna be pulling this artifact like crazy and not get the hero, maybe until pity, which is gonna be salty. But I don't know about this artifact. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this artifact and how it can be used. I'm just thinking like maybe some kind of bait type setup on a mage. I don't know about her on this artifact unless you're purely using her for support, and even then I would still stick to something like Abyssal Crown. I think it's more lethal. But upon receiving lethal damage, in my understanding, that wording means that if she dies, or the mage who holds this artifact, if they die, then thus effects follow. So correct me if I'm wrong. Let me know again in the comments, am I getting this right? But if lethal damage means that she has to die or someone has to die for this, I don't know if it's really worth it since it's really RNG. So has a 100% chance, if we're looking at the max limit broken version, to grant all allies except for the caster a random buff for 2 turns. So again, because my understanding of lethal damage means you're dead. Like how why does it have to say except the caster? That part I'm not quite sure of. Unless a revive buff can work. Now I'm starting to think, like, if she has a revive buff and she dies, it does proc, but I guess she doesn't get the effect of the artifact. But that should have been clear anyways. I'm actually like frowning because I'm confused myself. But a random buff for 2 turns. Okay, so one of the selected random buffs for 2 turns, increase attack greater, increase defense, increase evasion, immunity, or critical hit resistance, and it can only be activated once per battle. You see why I'm confused? I'm really confused, and also I think it is a roulette kind of thing. So it's 100% chance to proc, but every single hero will have a different buff, I think. I don't think it's going to be like a random buff applied to all heroes. Has a 100% chance to grant all allies except to cast a random buff for 2 turns. Yeah, I think it's going to be random. So like in the case that somehow you find a use for this artifact, you might get like the greater attack buff on your healer. You know, stuff like that. So it's going to be quite interesting. I think that this is, at the moment at least, I feel that it's as useless as Ray's artifact in terms of I don't know where this is going to be used. So yeah, you can't like, you know, have a Ruel and revive this mage twice, bait a kill again, and then have it proc again. So it can only used once per battle. So I think this is the troll of the banner, to make it not as like overpowered. So that's my full thoughts on Politis. I think, yeah, in my opinion, I think she's a must-have. I can see her just used on defense. To summarize, used on defense teams in RTA, it's going to be like a must-have like choice to either force the ban, or you know, you gotta assume people will actually pull for her. If they struggle with cleave, she's gonna deal with a lot of issues already. Like Blue Rose, you can't really cleave with her anymore, at least with her in the fight and stuff like that. But in terms of even on a defensive team, like if you're using her on an offensive team versus like a Guild War defense or something, like a Guild War defense that relies on some kind of CR manipulation, I think she's gonna be solid. And of course there's always the RNG of you not landing the debuffs you want, but still, I think there's definitely play with her. I would say this, I'm gonna go for her, and if there somehow is a limited coming, I mean, I have my Cerise, but I think Guiding Light is the real money there, unless you don't have Cerise. If Cerise is the limited hero coming, and I would, you know, for the sake of like the free-to-play players and whether or not you have to pull for her, just wait for like the last week so we can see what the next banner is. But in my opinion, man, Smilegate is pretty smart about this. By her release, I'm pretty sure they're gonna stuff another like return banner, so it will be too late for you to make a decision whether to save or go for like whatever limited is coming down the line. That being said, I'm gonna end this here. Very solid. I'm going to go for her. I really want her early video. Please don't curse me, all right? Don't give me a ton of these artifacts and then get me her on pity. Just one tap, please. I'm gonna end the video recording here. If you guys have Discord, check out the Discord server. Follow me on Twitter, subscribe to YouTube if you haven't. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time.